We're going to use our understanding of complex numbers now to help represent a few numbers with square roots of negative numbers. So for the first one, we've got a is the square root of negative 5. Now we know that the square root of negative 1 equals I. So what we're going to do is utilise that knowledge. So we're going to just rewrite this so that we've got the square root of negative 5 equals, we're going to break it up so we've got negative 1 in there times 5, because negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Now the key rule with surds and square roots is remembering that if you have the square root of a times b, that's equal to the square root of a times the square root of b. And it's nice if you want to put a little sort of thing at the end of your square root so you can tell where that ends. Particularly now we're going to start having square roots following in front of an I, so it's good to just put a little end there on your square root. So we're going to use that rule to help us break this up now. So now we've got negative 5 square root of that equals negative the square root of 1 times the square root of 5. And what that is equal to, remember that this square root of negative 1 is I, and so we've got I times square root of 5. And typically we like to write the I after a number, not in front of it, so we just rewrite this as square root of 5 I. So that's our number represented as an imaginary number. Okay. For b, we've got simplify, and it's 2 square root of negative 9 plus 4i. So it already has an I in there. It's got a real part and imaginary part. So it's of the form a plus bi. We just want to deal with this negative 9 because we don't want to keep it this way. We'd like to express this as a imaginary quantity. So we're going to have that is equal to 2 times the square root of negative 1 times 9 plus 4i. Split up your square root here, so into negative 1 times square root of 9 plus 4i. Now we know that this is I, and we know that this is 3. So what we really have is 2 times I times 3 plus 4i. 2 times 3 is 6i. Always put the number in front of the I, it's just the convention. And because you've got imaginary parts here, two imaginary parts, you can combine them together. So that means that in this case, our original expression, which was 2 times the square root of negative 9 plus 4i, is actually equal to 10i when it's simplified.